Oh, my good friends, it's a particularly gray and rainy day in my little quadrant of Sol 3 in Meter Spiral. That's our galactic designation, by the way. Uh, and I kind of felt the need to add a little bit of color to the day. And this video is sort of, I don't know, an invitation for discussion regarding everyone's favorite blade color. I view blade color as sort of a personal thing. People definitely, I mean, it's always been the age old question: what's your favorite color? And then lightsabers came along, and with the advent of these wonderful electronic doodads that we've all become addicted to, they generate a multitude of colors, RGB in value, and so we all have our preferences. And so here beginneth the discussion. For me, I have three predominantly preferred blade colors. Number one, light blue and or cyan, or in some vernacular, also known as Arctic blue. This is my number one go-to blade color, and this is kind of not a specific Arctic blue, but it is just the light blue that's generated on my JQ sabers that runs the Payco Crumble. You know, it's a full RGB saber, and I pretty much always leave it at this setting. Now that beggars the discussion. For a lot of people, you know, RGB or single blade color. I know that Sidious, he prefers single blade colors, and I tend to go that route. But a lot of times, if you want to get the board that you want, you have to go with an RGB and just kind of roll the dice. And hopefully you can find something that you enjoy. So this is legitimate Arctic blue. I think that's what Ultra Sabers calls it. It might be what Saberforge calls their light blue. I kind of forget. But you get the full gist here. This is my Ultra Sabers LEV5, and it's one of my favorite sabers, as you know. Second color, believe it or not, for me, for some crazy reason, is actually yellow. This is, of course, my Gold Hilt Kyberlite, which generates a fairly decent yellow, almost to the point where I just basically, even though this is a full RGB saber, I just keep it on yellow. It seems to go with this. I get kind of like this Imperial Knight kind of vibe, or not Imperial Knight, but was it Jedi Temple Guard, or whatever those guys are called. I'm gonna get the slanted emitter for this, and that's pretty much going to be the end of my upgrading for this, because I pretty much like everything about this, and I just want to keep it gold with this yellow. And I might get a Dayblade. I might get a yellow Dayblade. Who knows? So that's the Kyberlite. Boink. And this, of course, is my Vader's Vault. And that's the yellow from the Vader's Vault. I do apologize for the lighting situation here. It's not conducive to actually seeing the pure elemental aspect of all these blade colors. But you get the basic idea. So that's blade color number 2. And then lastly, and this is probably going to come as a bit of a shock, blade color number 3 for me is pink. And why? Why do I like pink? Well, mostly because my first foray into lightsabers in earnest was actually the one that I'm about to show you next, which I won't elaborate on. But it was supposed to be kind of a purple blade, and instead I ended up with pink. And it's such an unusual color for a lightsaber blade. You don't see too many people sporting it, so it has a uniqueness to it. And quite frankly, it's a beautiful color, and I'm man enough to admit that I like pink. And the pink on the Vader's vault is fabulous. And with this font, what's not to love? Yeah. And lastly, this is my Wonder Force Maverick V2, which you've all seen. And this was the first real saber that I ever owned. I mean, I had a Force Effects, to be sure, and then I bought this. And here we go. Sorry if it doesn't quite stack up to the Vader's vault, but yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, it's pink. that's not purple by any stretch of the imagination. And once I got used to this color, I kind of developed a bit of an odd appreciation for it that made this my third favorite color. So, for me, it's a combination of light blue / cyan / Arctic blue, any variation of yellow. I prefer my yellow not to have, accents in it, like, hints of other colors, just like a pure yellow, and pink. So, basically, that's pretty much all I wanted to bring up, and I really am kind of curious, what is your preferred blade color? Everyone has one, and I'd like a discussion on that, and don't critique each other. I mean, don't be kind if someone's favorite color doesn't jive with what you feel is is acceptable, because everyone has their own ideas and their own thoughts and their own passions, and everyone's entitled to that. But I invite the discussion. So, on this rainy day, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will have more reviews upcoming. Things are going to start arriving to my doorstep starting tomorrow with any luck. And then hopefully Saberforge will start delivering on some of the the items that I have on order with them. So I probably have something like 10 sabers coming. And on the subject of the Gen 3s, I did email Saberforge and their Etsy site this weekend, just kind of inquiring about that situation and, whether or not orders are going to be fulfilled, and just reminding them that they have customers that are sort of wondering, what the heck is going on. We still don't know. People have made some wonderful suggestions, and I think all of them are valid. And I think, it's high time for Saberforge to consider, maybe giving us all an answer and just assuaging our concerns. So, with any luck, I'll hear from them, and then I'll relay what I've heard from them to you. I recommend everybody kind of inquire as well, and see if we can get some answer and find out if we're all being left out to dry, as it were. Okay. And, yep, that's it for me. So everyone have a wonderful rest of the weekend and a wonderful week, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, okay? Thank you very much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. You know what I mean? You guys are epic. Bye.